What is up, everybody? Welcome back, Lord of the Rings Online. Today, I am suited up because we are going to be reacting to an awesome video just put out by one of my favorite streamers, Josh Strife Hayes. He has a great series called Worst MMO Ever. I love watching it, and he just featured Lord of the Rings Online. So we're going to play a little bit here with Brightlife, our new warden. We're going to jump back into the game, and then we are going to be reacting to that video. Let's do it.
Didn't they just fly the eagles to Mordor? Right, now there are thousands of people writing angry comments. Let's play Lord of the Rings.
I was about to say, listen, the reason they didn't fly the eagles to Mordor is because Sauron had an Air Force too, and it would have been the easiest way to deliver the ring, but I think I just proved Josh Strife Hayes' point. Let's watch.
Join me as I adventure through the lands of Middle-earth, hunting bandits around Bree, waging war on the wargs of the wood, and then showing Elrond my balloon. Oh. Truly the stuff of legends. Truly. Also, you can play as an orc, which sounds fun, but is actually rubbish. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I'm Josh Strife Hayes, and this is Worst MMO Ever, a show where I play every MMO I can find in a journey to find the worst. Drop a like on the vid or sub to the channel for more MMO stuff. Ring the bell for all the future notifications. And as usual, a massive thank you to all the supporters on Patreon and Twitch who keep the channel alive. More on how you can support at the end. For now, let's begin. Lord of the Rings, one of the greatest adventure epics ever written. It's up there with the timeless classics like Treasure Island, Around the World in 80 Days, or Morning's End Part 2. And after the record-breaking success of the films, it seemed only right it would eventually get an MMORPG release set in Middle-earth. Now, Lord of the Rings Online has been out for quite a while, releasing back in
I was just here. I was right there like a day ago. That was where you had to go through and kill the spiders, and that was great. That was great.
2007, and while it's never quite managed to break into the top MMOs, it's remained consistently popular with a hardcore player base all this time. And now it's on Steam and actually giving away a surprising amount of content for free. So let's give it a go. It does, however, seem so focused on giving away content it forgot to give away the desktop icon when you download it from Steam, so we launched this bit of paper.
That is true. I noticed that as soon as I downloaded it, I was like, why does this not have an icon? Like, if you look over on his computer in there, Guild Wars 1 has an icon. Like, that old game has an icon. And I do appreciate that Josh is using just the basic Windows background. That's awesome.
With a folded over corner, and then get started. The first thing you see is a full screen advert for the cash shop. Not the strongest of starts. Character creation, 7 races to choose from. Some classes are only available to certain races, but in a really nice touch, each race has an optional intro movie you can watch which describes their history and a bit about them.
Men and women of Beorn's line possess the power to take the shape of mighty and fearsome bears. As their wrath increases, so too do the strength and capabilities of their animal forms.
Calling the mountains and hills home. The dwarves are a sturdy folk, dour-handed warriors, but also crafters of great skill. The age of man is fast approaching. The chosen of a higher power, men dominate the lands of Middle-earth.
Now, regular viewers will know that I'm a crazy, out-there, adventurous guy, and I really like to push the boat out with fantasy races whenever I play crazy MMORPG games, so I'll play a human male. For class, again, you've got movies for each one.
The captain is a...
Yeah, I've always wondered the difference between people that play, you know, like the human male, which is very much just almost being like yourself, at least if you're me, versus the people that play, you know, the most versus the people that play some of the most, like, you know, wild out there races, you know, like the Volpera in WoW or something like that. It's an interesting thing, and I wonder what it means. I wonder if, you know, if you took a psychologist to us, like, you know, who you play in MMOs, what does that make you? I don't know.
Masterful leader, a commanding presence who strengthens her allies, but she is also skilled in the use of arms. Her battle cries strike fear into the hearts of her enemies, while her allies rally to her banners of war.
To continue my random zany character, I'll make this playthrough even more interesting, and I'll go for Man with Sword. Right, now to pick a name and we'll be off. You cannot have that name, as it appears to be gibberish. Wow, thanks, Lord of the Rings Online.
Oh, Josh Strife Hayes is apparently gibberish. That's really funny.
I'd like to point out that Celeborn in High Elvish is teleporno. But yeah, Josh Strife Hayes is dumb. Finally find a name it accepts, and oh hey look, there's an option to manage player-made plugins. I like that. I won't use it, but I'm a big fan of accessibility and customization, and to see they officially endorse and support you playing how you want to play, that's nice. Start the game and we are in a bandit camp. We've been captured, but don't worry.
That's one thing that I think about Lord of the Rings Online that's interesting is it very obviously has taken little steps throughout the years to try to appeal to a wider play base. Or wider player base. It's taken big steps in that direction. Even playing now, since I've played 15 years ago, you notice little things that they've tried to do to be innovative and really different than all of the other MMORPGs out there to try to be really effective. And I think that's really cool.
Great, the Ranger Strider is there to help us. WASD to move, space to jump, and oh god, the movement feels floaty. There's like a slight acceleration and then slow down stop with every movement, like you're pushing a heavy cart through a big marshmallow. A and D also turn instead of strafe, which just won't do and should be illegal. So how easy is it to rebind keys? Oh, it's extremely easy. Awesome, good job. Strider fights some bandits and we get tutorial boxes explaining everything and then told to pick up the guard's equipment. Right click to interact, I opens the inventory, C as the character sheet, right click to equip. It's standard stuff so far, but it's explaining it step by step with a narrative driven context reason to actually encourage the choice. This is nice. We fight Strider for some combat practice and right, there's no getting around it. This is clunky. It's janky. We'll see how it is as we play more. Run through this portal to the outside and now more reading. There's a lot of reading in Lord of the Rings Online. It very much follows the classic RPG school design of paragraph.
I do wonder what's going to happen when the graphical upgrades come to Lord of the Rings Online. I know that they've mentioned that a couple of times. It would be interesting to see what will it work? Will it not work? Will people be excited about it when it actually comes down to it? I wonder if that's going to help the clunkiness. I think that if they were to work on good graphical and sound upgrades, I think they could really modernize this MMO. I think it could have a real comeback.
Of description and in-depth history of absolutely bloody everything. Kind of like Lord of the Rings, the book. Kill some enemies with auto-attack, have experience...
My boy Josh Strife Hayes did not just diss the book. Man, that is my trigger, bro. I love these books.
Explain and then get told to find Celadine, another captured prisoner. Now the combat may be clunky, but the fights are short, and the few skills I do have feel important because you only have a few of them, and I can see the substantial increase in damage on use, or reduction in damage on defensive stance use, and the music is just absolutely top quality. We're now halted to watch the drama, and this is something the game does at important story moments. Every now and again you'll be forced to stand still and watch in-game cutscenes. Lord of the Rings Online is a very narrative-driven game, showing you the story is a major design choice. They even call these bits drama moments. We rescue Celadine from a cage and she immediately gets a flaming torch and hurls it onto the roof of the bandit camp, burning the place down.
Because Celadine is awesome. She's so great.
Like you, a woman of action, no messing, just fire. Rescue more prisoners, then get sent to see what Strider is up
No messing, just fire should be a t-shirt. I want that.
to. He's meant to be with the ranger Amdir, so we round the corner and find Amdir fighting a black rider. And we can't help because the gate is locked, so we are forced to watch as Amdir is stabbed. And then the flames of the burning camp drive the Black Rider off. Strider asks for our help to get Amdir to safety, and we can finish the quest now or later. Now, finishing quests sometimes graphically changes the world, so you're warned to do everything you were doing before moving on, as you may lose some optional story threads. So we set off, and there's a cutscene.
Wounded by a Black Rider, the Ranger Amdir escaped with his charges into the wild, making his way back to the village of Archett.
There, Captain Brackenbrook, a retired sellsword,
Spoiler alert, rest in peace, Captain Brackenbrook.
has allowed Strider and his companions to stay and take respite from their cares.
Now we're in a new village. Let's just get our bearings. The minimap is fine, the world map, Okay, we have a world map, but it's a little bit low resolution. It feels stretched, like trying to play an old Windows 98 game on a modern monitor, but it is serviceable. It'll do for now, but improvements could be made. There is even a tick box for quest guides, so more optional playstyles. Nice. So quests in the game show up as 3 possible icons both on the minimap and above the NPC heads. A golden ring for side quests, a flaming ring for the epic quest lines, and a ring with a quill through it for additional info you might find useful. And when you accept a quest, you can see the suggested level, in this case 1, and team size, in this case solo. And if you do accept a quest, your journal will record all the info about that quest, including a full history recap of who you spoke to and what they said. And this is a really good journal system. Now, it doesn't have everything, like locations you accepted the quest in, or where it wants you to go, or arrows pointing to stuff, but it does provide enough information for you to work that all out. Talk to some local...
Once again, I think it would be really cool to see Josh respond to this after the graphical updates that are supposedly coming, if they do indeed come. If they do, I think that would be really helpful, because maybe all of this stuff could be fixed. And again, I hope Standing Stone is watching videos like Josh's to say, as we think about modernizing this game, what could this look like? Or, you know, in my dream world, what would Lord of the Rings Online 2 look like? Man, that would be so cool.
People and get told you can edit your inventory layout. Oh, that's cool. You can switch around the available storage space in the different bags that you have. So we get given some armor, and the stats seem pretty grounded and understandable for now. Just a simple armor value. Hopefully this won't suffer from power.
That's true. That's true. It's hard. It's hard because this game has been around for so long, and you know, I think every MMO comes to the point where, you know, their game becomes so huge, and you have to become more and more powerful. That, you know, look at that, 197,000 armor. I mean, that's crazy. And you've got people with like 1 million plus health. It does become a little bit difficult, and I think that every MMO has to go through this. I do think that World of Warcraft actually handled this really well with the release of Shadowlands, actually bumping the level down and allowing all the stats to kind of squish, as they called it, the stat squish. I think that Lord of the Rings Online could use that. I don't know if it's going to be able to make it through another expansion, you know, 150 levels. I think it might actually really work if Lord of the Rings Online were to squish their levels, or, man, and again, I think this would be really cool if Lord of the Rings Online would release a LOTRO 2. If we could focus on, you know, Elendil and Isildur with Angmar and the Witch King, the Wars of the Witch King in Arnor. I think that you would have so much content to go off of. I think you could really thrive in that space. And I know it takes a long time to create an MMO, but especially with the upcoming Amazon series, I think it could be a great time to make a LOTRO 2. I'm just saying, Standing Stone, you could make it, and it would be incredible. And it would definitely bump into top 5 because Lord of the Rings Online used to be so popular. I think that either a level squish, make it easy, but man, if you released a LOTRO 2, it would absolutely succeed.
Creep too much. We have a chat to the local Captain Brackenbrook, responsible for defence of the village, about the bandit attack we were captured in. He tells us to talk to the locals to assess the reality of a bandit threat. So we do, and everyone actually feels fine, and they think we're overreacting. Now, I really like this because it has completely subverted my expectations. In most fantasy stories, you'd be immediately believed on account of being the main character, but here the locals think you are lying and they demand proof. It immediately makes me feel insignificant in a good way. I know there's a threat, but I need proof beyond my own word, because until I've proved myself, my word has no weight. So Strider tells me to go and speak to the skill trainers and see what they think. And oh, this is a small but lovely touch. The skill trainers aren't just stood around waiting for players to talk to them like boring mechanics. They're actually training other NPCs like living beings. The brawler is punching, the ranger is shooting a bow. This feels like a training camp. So we show this combat dummy who is boss and get a choice of new weapons: Great Axe, Great Sword or Warhammer. The DPS is the same on all of them, but the effects are different, so it's a case of setting up a playstyle and not just choosing the bigger number. Now Andir is still suffering from a minor case of being...
See, again, as Josh is talking, I think that Lord of the Rings Online has set up such great systems. And I think that with the influx of new players, it's such a good time for Standing Stone to continue to capitalize on the progress that they've made. They've made so much progress. I really, really hope that as they have this great core game, maybe it is a level squish, maybe it's a new release. I'm not really sure, but I know that they can capitalize on it. It would just be awesome. This would be the perfect time for a graphics update. The perfect time.
Very stabbed, so we need to go and find some medicine, and this means travelling to the wolf-infested forest. And when I leave the village and step into the countryside for the first time, I feel genuinely adventurous. Lord of the Rings Online is indeed old. It's got clunky combat, and some of the quests are a novella worth of reading. The graphics and textures aren't the highest quality, and some of the upgrade paths and systems are overly complicated, but the moment-to-moment feeling of exploring in this game is fantastic. The music is brilliant, composed by Chance Thomas. This game's score has been nominated for multiple awards. The entire soundtrack is, without a doubt, a sublime piece of video game art. Now, this dude, Calder, tells us if we're going to hunt for medicine, we should also kill the wolves at the local ruins folly. And if we're going that way anyway, check the top of the ruins for the source of the wolves, if we'd be so kind, please and thank you. And oh, the world map has Questuron showed as a coloured overlay, and you can manually change the colours. What a small but lovely touch. Now, fighting the wolves is again dividing. On one hand, the combat system feels janky, with attack distances not easy to see. Auto attack not the easiest to begin because there's a slight delay on every input, and the ability queue system sometimes not responding fast enough. But on the other hand, I do feel my choices are having substantial weight on the outcome of the battle. Killing enemies also gets you loot, and there's a little area loot icon so you don't miss anything, and this loot lasts in your area claim box for about 1 hour, so you can just zone out and enjoy the music and kill stuff and then pick everything up when you remember to do that. Is there fall damage? Oh, interesting. No damage, but injury. A debuff making you move slower for a while. That's a nice way of doing it. Got all the medicine, killed all the wolves, so I go and check the top of the...
I think Lord of the Rings Online is like an immersion game. They were going for full immersion, and for great reason. Lord of the Rings is a fantastic book to read for immersion, movie to watch for immersion. The game really follows that. The only problem with an immersion game, an immersion building game, is that, when a game is this old and, you have old style, a little bit clunky combat, like Josh Strife Hayes said, sometimes it can break that immersion just by being a little bit more clunky. It kind of has to feel natural, and it doesn't yet. I think that it's getting there, but I would love to see a little bit more of a graphical update interface. Again, a Lord of the Rings Online 2 with all of the good stuff carried over to a brand new game, new hype, new excitement. Oh my goodness, it would be good.
Folly as Calder asked me to, and an assassin jumps out saying Calder sent them and we need to die. What the hell, dude? So we deal with them and then go and ask Calder some questions. Questions like, Calder, why are you trying to kill me? It seems Calder is a member of the local bandits and he's planning on attacking the village, but he's also good mates with Captain Brackenbrook, and he doesn't mind telling us this because he knows the captain will never believe us. Oh, the plot thickens. Using pre-existing interpersonal relationships between NPCs to make our job of exposing treachery harder? That's quite nice writing. Nice. So we question a captured Blackwalled bandit and he confirms that, yeah, Calder is involved, but this is still not enough for proof. So we are sent to check on the farms to the south and see if they know anything about the secret bandit attack plan. Now, obviously, I want to save the village, but more importantly, you can see the quest rewards as you accept the quest, and this quest gives me a cape. And in any MMO, once you get a cape and some shoulder armor, you know you have made it.
True. When you get the cape and the shoulders, you're like, oh, I'm playing now. Oh, I'm in the game. That should be like in the MMO RPG handbook somewhere, man. That is so good.
My long run to the southern farm, and believe me, there is a lot of travelling in this game. I try to use the global chat to say hi, but it's level locked to prevent bots. But you know what's not level locked? Claiming my free silver hobbit gift. Oh good, free gift systems so I can fill up my very limited inventory with random crap I don't need or understand. And it even says, hey, you can pay real money for more free gifts. That's not a free gift then, is it? That's just buying stuff. We'll look at the shop later. The southern farms are in trouble, and they need me to go to the local village.
I gotta say this. His little thing with this is it's such a good representation of kind of the good and the bad in this game. Look at how much text is on this box. Every time I go to open the gift, I've never actually read through all the text. It's just so much, and I think that the new player experience is just hurt a little bit. It's hurt a little bit by the amount of overwhelm that there is. You know, there's a free gift here, there's a store here, there's this new system here and this new system here. Again, if Lord of the Rings Online could take the good in their game and simplify out some of these things, they could be top 5 MMOs for sure. They could charge $15 a month to play this game for everybody, and people would do it. I guarantee it. If they could simplify it just a little bit. I love what Josh is saying here. That's very true.
My very
That's very true.
Inventory with random crap I don't need or understand for some supplies, but when I get to Combe, it's under black-walled bandit control.
I danced with that guy.
How this area is the whole tutorial. It's hemmed in by a bandit attack. So I tell the southern farmers this, and he writes a letter for Captain Brackenbrook to confirm, yeah, we're actually in quite a bit of trouble, so I set off to deliver that. And in a nice touch, that letter is not just a random quest item in my inventory, it's a letter. You can read it. You know, so far I've found a lot of small but really nice touches which either increase the game accessibility or the variety of playstyles you can have, or enhance the immersion of the player into the world. Now I know it's still early days, but I'm actually quite liking this. Brackenbrook, presented with evidence of the bandit threat, laments how many years ago their own son warned them of this growing bandit insurrection, but they didn't believe them and instead cast their son out of the village. So the son joined the local Rangers Lodge. But now the son...
These guys really like the bandits. Sorry, I know I'm commentating on the story, not the video, but man, these guys really like these bandits. That's so funny.
May be their only hope for a defence. Brackenbrook, racked with guilt, begs us not to contact the son because of his pride, but Strider thinks we should put personal family feelings aside and ask the Rangers for help, so we set off to find him. Water. The is it better than New World test. Is there swimming? Yes. Yes, there is. And oh my god, those reflection graphics. Good lord, that looks nice. Find the Rangers Lodge, find John Brackenbrook. He understands the safety of the village matters more than the past feelings of family disagreements, and he agrees to help. Now, all the quest rewards seem to be either light, medium, or heavy armour, and I'm going full heavy so I can tank stuff and not die. John asks us to go to a local bandit hideout and try and find the bandits' battle plans so we can prepare a defence. And this is the start of an actually quite logical series of tactical choices. While I'm in combat, I do notice there is a visual skill queue-up system. Some skills chain from one to the next, and pressing a skill button shows you this yellow edging rotating around the side, so you know it's going to happen next. So even if a skill is on cooldown, you can queue it up to happen when it's ready. Oh look, location-based weather. In the bandit ruins, it's cloudy, and then as you run outside, it becomes sunny again. And then you run back inside and it becomes cloudy. I know they're just using it as an ambience thing, but it's kind of a shame it's not consistent across the map. Take John the plans and he says, right, the bandits are planning to use the old spider-infested eastern path to sneak around the back of the village. So we should go and check out that path, see what state it's currently in, see if the village wall there is still intact. So we chat to Acty Spiderbane, who helps us find the route. The hidden path is indeed full of spiders. And at the end of this path, we find a dead bandit scout. And the village wall fully intact. Okay, this is brilliant. I expected the bandits to have an assault party here already, but this is visual storytelling. The bandits have sent a guy to check on the viability of the path for an assault, and the guy died because it's not a good assault route and the spiders got him. Which means the bandits don't know this is a bad idea. So we tell John this route won't be good, but the bandits don't know this, so he decides, right, we'll set up a small ambush at the end of this spider path, so any bandits which do try to use it will be caught between rangers or spiders. This is a good plan. We are warned that finishing this quest will end every other...
See, this is why Lord of the Rings Online was so popular when it first came out. Like, the stories were great. They were interesting. They really, whoever ran this in the very beginning had a great idea, which was immerse people in the world and give them a good story with great music, right? The things that we loved about the movies. Again, if we could redo this, if we could just up the graphical quality a little bit, maybe make the combat feel a little bit better, this could be so good.
The side quest we're on, because this is the last tutorial quest, but I am so invested in this village defense story. Let's do this right now. So the bandit siege has begun. The village is on fire. The bandits are swarming. Let's fight. We rush through. We meet Ulti again and we team up, and eventually we reach Captain Brackenbrook, who has a brief but emotionally intense reunion with his son. And then we all work together to defend the village from the waves of bandits until the traitor Calder shows up again, flanked by 2 psychic Cargul. And their presence prevents us from moving. Now Calder, with the promise of riches and power, kills Captain Brackenbrook, forcing John, his son, to watch. And when the Cargul leave, the psychic domination effect ends and we fight back. We win. And then there's another cutscene.
With the Black Wolves' attack foiled, the people of Archet have begun to rebuild. Yet not all hurts are so easily mended. The fate of the Ranger Amdia remains
Here's the question. What would Lord of the Rings Online look like if it had Star Wars The Old Republic style cutscenes? You know, where you could really choose the paths of conversation. That would be so cool because, I mean, obviously it lends itself to great narrative storytelling. I wonder if you had a LOTRO 2 or if you had a big revamp of Lord of the Rings Online, how cool would that be? That would almost be like the perfect MMO to me. If you could interact a little bit more in the cutscenes instead of just having wall text on the quests, man, that could be really, really interesting. That could be good.
certain and may have dire consequences for Breland.
That was a lot darker than I was expecting it to be. We now get a milestone skill, which lets you teleport to the connected village, and you can link your milestone skill to whatever new village you visit. Think of it like a Hearthstone. We chat to John, who's understandably distraught after seeing his father killed right in front of him, and we get the next quest. Go and bury the dead. Okay, that whole village bit was an intro, and as far as intros go, it's really, really good. I feel pretty confident in my abilities now. I have a basic understanding, and I feel ready to go.
Especially narratively, it's really good. I mean, you compare it to other intro sessions from other MMORPGs, it's got to be one of the top ones. And I've played all of the different intros throughout this one. I do think that the Man and Hobbit starting area intros are much better than the Dwarf and Elf starting areas, just visually. So I'm glad he chose Man, because I don't think he would have loved it as much if it was the Elven starting area over there by Thorin's Gate. But I do think that as far as intros go, teaching you the game, getting you interested in it, this has got to be one of the better ones.
Go and explore. This was good pacing. And the fact that we're in the same village but the whole thing is charred and burnt down, this is really impressive. So I start burying the local dead, and I get told that some coins have been sent to my wallet, and I can open the wallet with B. So I open the wallet and there it is, a big button, Mithril coins. Okay, Lord of the Rings Online, let's do this. What's the shop like? The in-game premium shop actually opens in a browser window, and it is extensive. Want to gain experience faster? Not a problem. Want to stop experience gain altogether so you can continue your PvP levels? That's fine. Want to just buy a level boost? Yep, it's all there. You can even buy the new class and... hang on, what's this? Monster classes for the monster versus player mode. Oh, I'm definitely checking that out later. So most of the shop is extra game content, either...
Is he gonna like it? I don't think he will. I mean, I know he said it at the beginning, but I don't know. I feel like PvMP is a very niche thing. I tried to play it the other day and I could not find a group, and I was on like a Friday night on server time and I couldn't find anybody to run with. So I would love to see it get bigger though. I think that the PvP in Lord of the Rings could be better, but let's see what he says.
Massive expansions like the current Fate of Gundabad, or smaller local quest chains. Packs which add around 40 to 70 quests to a specific map or area, and content packs vary between 1,000 to 3,000 Lord of the Rings Online points, and 40 quid will get you 9,000 points, so it's not unaffordable, but it is abusively priced to mean you'll always be slightly over or slightly under what you need. but there is a hell of a lot to buy. You can spend 3,000 points to make your horse go up to 78% faster. You can buy a Tome of Defense to increase your defense for a short time, same with speed or outgoing healing or attack. So yeah, there are just a ton of straight up temporary stat boosts for sale. If you're struggling in a raid or a dungeon, not a problem. Drop some cash, boost, win. But I did...
So it is pay to win. I guess that is true. Hey, Boston, great to have you here, man. We're reacting to the Josh Strife Hayes video right now, and then we're going to jump back into leveling. Glad you're here, man. But it does have some pay-to-win elements.
They're giving away a load of stuff for free. Now, back in March, they decided to make all of the older expansions part of the main free game. And if you're a monthly subscriber, you'll get access to a load of the smaller quest packs. You only really need to buy the latest main expansion. And as we'll see later, there is a way to do this using in-game currency. It's actually a really decent amount of content for free. It's just a very overwhelming, very pay-to-win shop. And while browsing the shop, I died. Now, you can revive where you are or go back to a stone circle outside of town, and revive where you are does have a cool...
I mean, to be fair, obviously he went into the shop by the brown bear, which maybe not the best place to go into a shop.
Down, so I get back to my burying bodies quest. You know what I like? You're not the chosen one. You're not destined to be great, you're not magical or special, you're just an adventurer helping out. You were in the right place at the right time and you did what you could. And if people do come to see you as a hero, it's because you chose to do heroic things. Not because of some predestined birthright or immutable prophecy. Your rewards are of your own doing. I also like how when you teleport back to your milestone town, your avatar studies a map with a magnifying glass. Because I relate to it so hard. You're basically saying, I have no idea where I am, let's go home. Back in town, a wandering stranger has been looking for the hero of Archette, and that's likely us because of our actions during the defense of the village. So we are sent to the village of Combe and told to go to the Combe and Wattle Inn. And now the first experience of lag. The player base has warned me Lord of the Rings Online can get very laggy, and up until now I've been fine, but God, going through this village gate I get attacked by something, I can't see anything, and then a wolf lags in, dies, and I rubber band around for about 3 minutes. If this is what the player base knows as standard, no wonder they are struggling to hold players. Issue navigating in towns. The world map is low resolution and can be zoomed in.
I don't think I've ever had it that bad. I don't... Boston says, you must have missed the bedroll quest in the intro where Galadriel tells you how special you are. It is true. They did have to shoehorn that in there. It's true. So we are special, but not super special because you're not one of the fellowship, but you're kind of going alongside of them, you know what I mean? That is funny. I've never had lag quite as bad as what he experienced in the in this right here, and I've questioned, of course, quite a bit. I wonder if it's, I know that he's over in the EU. I wonder if the servers are worse there. In the US, I've never had that. I have had some stuttering, but I've never quite experienced the rubber banding and then appearing mobs or anything like that. But hey, he obviously did.
In or out with left or right click, but never to any real usable degree of detail. We need like a mouse wheel scroll. It's a more general location, and the minimap can't be changed at all. So in busy towns like this one, icons overlap one another and navigation is more annoying than it needs to be. Please, Lord of the Rings Online, if you revamp anything, let it be your map system. Into the inn we head upstairs and meet Torodan, another ranger. They introduce us to traits. So there's actually even more pacing in this tutorial. The player isn't assaulted with an overwhelming amount of systems too soon. You are given more as you explore more. J opens the traits menu. You've got class, race and virtue traits. Buffs gained as you level up and then arranged to form a more unique character to your own playstyle. Now I don't worry about this right now. I get sent to help out Constable Underhill. And when I leave the inn, a little box pops up telling me I have the riding skill. Cool, I can use mounts. Where is the riding skill? Can't seem to find it on the skills menu. Or the traits menu. It's not active or passive. Am I just missing?
Well, Josh, if you would open one of your 4 treasure packs that are in your inventory right now, then you'd get some mounts, if you would believe it.
Dang it. I even open up the help menu from the escape menu, which loads the knowledge base of the game. I search for riding, and nothing comes up. Wow, your in-game knowledge base doesn't have info that a player might need, even relating to a keyword. What a great design. Eventually, I just Google it. The riding skill, the base level one, which lets you use a mount, is in the cash shop.
Oh.
Now bear in mind, you have a mount in your inventory for free but you can't use it. That's terrible. A pop-up telling you you can buy riding, but you do literally need to buy riding. Now, as I play more, I do discover this system isn't as bad as it seems. You can use in-game currency, but consider for a moment that a new player gets to this point, Googles Lord of the Rings Online riding skill, and gets told, yeah, you've got to pay real cash for that. That is a quit moment right there. Constable Underhill says the Blackwalled Bandits are defeated, but not gone completely.
Yeah, you can use the starter pony for like 24 hours. That is true. And I think that if you, I'm pretty sure that in the now, what we are in the 15th anniversary here, he may have played this a little bit before that. I think that you get the riding skill for free as you level up. I'm pretty sure that happens. But it is true. I mean, we talk about this a lot in the YouTube side of things for me. MMOs have to do a great job of minimizing the quit moments, especially in the beginning, those first 15, 20 levels. You have to make it less overwhelming, which I think Josh was actually really kind about Lord of the Rings Online. There are some overwhelming moments in the first 10 levels, even just the trait system, all these great systems they put together. It can be a little overwhelming for a new player, or maybe he's just less overwhelmed than I am in general. I don't know, but I have found it a little overwhelming.
And he thinks there's a spy remaining and supplying them in the village. So while we go and hunt that spy down, let's have a read of some reviews. It's really good. When I first picked up this game about a month ago, I didn't expect to like it half as much as I did. I just wanted to dip my toes into an MMO I hadn't tried before, but what I ended up with was a world where I wanted to linger. I admit I don't know how well the atmosphere would translate over for someone less familiar with Professor Tolkien's work, but I think the moments that made me stop and just want to linger in the scenery don't require that.
See, and you can tell this person is exactly who the Lord of the Rings Online works for right now, with Professor's work. You know, that is obviously a very entrenched Tolkien fan, and I did just say this earlier in the stream that I'm on right now, but I do wonder how well Lord of the Rings Online would work for someone who is just minorly associated with Lord of the Rings. Maybe they've watched the movie one time, they've not read the books, they're just like, oh yeah, that movie from a while back, I know a couple of people really like it. I wonder if they would really enjoy the game. I'd love to hear from somebody that is just an MMO fan, not necessarily a massive Lord of the Rings fan. I think they would have a harder time with that fan because the game does feel a little bit more dated, and there are the cash shop elements and things like that where maybe some more modern MMOs don't have those things.
Much connection to the lore. The gameplay turned out to be neatly adjustable to various playstyles. I picked Hunter as my first class and wasn't disappointed with all the fast travel options it offered and the DPS, but I think at this point I've read people calling a good half of all the classes their favourite for solo play, which I think says a lot. Couldn't get into it. It just feels old. Horrible sign-up process, clunky movement, stationary combat, terrible graphics on ultra settings, endless fetch quests where you have to run for 10 minutes to the next objective. Some quests require VIP membership from the start.
See, and this is what I think a regular MMO player thinks about these games. I think it's gotten a lot better with the 15th anniversary, but I do think that the non-Tolkien fan, if you're just looking at it as an MMO, it may not quite hold up, but we'll see.
It just doesn't have much going for it. The best way to experience the world of J.R.R. Tolkien outside...
See, once again, the world of J.R.R. Tolkien. If you care about Tolkien, this is one of the best games for you.
Of the books. The graphics are a bit dated but serviceable, and it runs well on older hardware. The cash shop is less predatory than most free-to-play titles, and the game can be enjoyed without spending money, although earning premium currency in the game is limited. All in all, I highly recommend giving it a try, even if you just take a pleasant stroll around the Shire.
I'm sorry for stopping so much, but I do think, again, what she said, that person that posted that is so true. If you just want to take a stroll around the Shire, if you just want to be immersed in the game where you're in Middle-earth, this is a great game for you. I do think it's sad, though, that in MMOs today that we have this it's less predatory cash shop. I kind of wish that there was an MMO out there with just zero cash shop. I know that's not possible. It would be cool to see a game just go, listen, we're going to stand on our own as a game. That would be really cool.
To assist the Fellowship of the Ring on their journey to Mount Doom, want to explore Gollum's cave in the depths of Goblin Town, want to help find Bill the pony after Sam released him outside the mines of Moria, then I highly recommend for the story aspect. Just discovered if you zoom in, you can play in first person, journeying through a densely packed, foliage-filled forest. I am really surprised at how nice the general ambience is in Lord of the Rings Online. Find the bandit camp, run in screaming, and get killed very quickly. Now, as a captain, I can summon a banner-bearer pet. I assumed they would fight by my side, but no, they just stand there cheering me on. You're about as useless as Faramir. Your health, by the way, is called morale. This is why...
That was low. Come on, Josh. Faramir's useful. He's the best. He's great. He's a man of quality. And you do get an archer later on as a captain.
You don't die. You just run out of morale and give up. So I kill some bandits and, oh, I seem to be completing a deed. What are deeds? Well, deeds are small local tasks like killing bandits or spiders or collecting stuff. And completing a deed rewards you with Lord of the Rings Online points, the premium currency. So there's actually a system where playing the game gives you the currency required for the in-game shop so you can spend it and unlock stuff like the riding skill or quest lines or major expansions. I like this. It's not fast, but it means it is possible to grind the game to pay for the rest of the game. We find a letter at the bandit camp and take it back to Underhill, and he sends us northwest. The letter is from the wolf breeder Ellie. It seems that she has been supplying the bandits with attack wolves, so we should go and have a word. If I had to describe the...
Imagine that's your job. I supply attack wolves. That's my whole thing. That is badass. I love that.
experience of playing Lord of the Rings Online in one word, I'd choose pleasant, both in style and mechanical design. On the style front, it's not stunning, it's not genre-definingly incredible, but it's not offensively bad. It looks good, it sounds great, it plays acceptably, and the moment-to-moment feeling of being within this rather well-crafted world is very enjoyable because of all of those styles combining really well. It is a pleasant world to exist in and explore around, and then the mechanics of the gameplay and the small touches all add up. Movement is floaty, but you get used to it. Combat is janky, but serviceable. The inventory is nicely laid out, and the character profile contains enough details, and the quest journal has enough info available at a glance. There are very few design choices in Lord of the Rings Online bad enough to make a player want to stop playing.
You know what is really bad, Josh, is your hotbar management. I am a hotbar. They have to be so perfect. And bro, you got your map next to one of your attacks, next to your heralds, next to your mount. Bro, you got to put those places that they're supposed to go, man. You're making my OCD go crazy.
Find Ellie. She says, yeah, I did send the wolves to the bandits, but then they bred them into wargs, and I feel pretty bad about that, so please go and kill the brood mother to stop that happening again. Here's the secret hideout location. Okay, Ellie, we all make mistakes. I mean, who hasn't sold wolves to a bandit before? You live and learn. This means a lot more walking, but walking leads to this moment, which I think exemplifies the pleasant description. Just look at this. I'm standing on an overlook above a lumberyard, and you've got an NPC warden patrolling the road, walking over the bridge, and some of the NPC workers are all chopping logs with the forest sprawling into the distance. Now, in many games you just have a lumberyard, but here you've got people actually existing on the yard and doing the actions expected, chopping logs. This small touch of having NPCs in the world living their life and working their jobs instead of just standing around waiting for the player to come and chat to them is such a powerful design choice. It makes the world feel real beyond my small experience of it. And I actually just stand here and watch for a while. The lives of the workers, the music, the gentle rustling of the trees. This is a pleasant experience.
It's true.
Even running through the yard itself, there's side quests, people taking breaks, and I can see myself one day just taking a lazy Sunday to help everyone out here because it's an enjoyable place to be. Find the bandit wolf house. It is guarded, so I sneak around the back and fight my way through, and I quite like the fact that you can approach this from multiple angles, and eventually I lure the den mother over to me and I kill them. I let Ellie know it's dealt with and we get a shiny new axe for our troubles. But we're not done. The den mother is out, but there are still wolves remaining, so we need some poison to deal with them. Leecher Cartwell tells us to go and find some ingredients, but this is the first moment, the very first quest that feels like filler. Up until right now, everything has been paced really well and the story moved along quite quickly. this is the moment it begins to feel like a padded MMO instead of a well-paced RPG.
And what's interesting, him saying that, is that he very obviously hasn't been doing a lot of the side quests as he goes. You can see, you know, the enemies that he's trying to attack are at least 4 levels above him. He's level 7. He's just been missing a lot of the side quests. So it is interesting. I wonder how he would feel if he had done those and was really up to the level cap as it goes.
Now, I've been ignoring my backpack because I know that I'm about to do something stupid. In my inventory, there are 3 boxes. The 3 Peaks pack, the Minas Morgul pack...
Homie's about to get his mounts. Homie is about to get his mounts.
...and the Mordor pack. And these are the 3 free expansions and all the stuff you would get if you were to buy them. So I open the Mordor one, and I get a load of cosmetics. And the cosmetic override system is really easy to use. You just choose what you're equipped with for stats and then what you want to use for visuals. The only problem is the visual override items stay in your inventory, taking up space. But there's also a level 120 Aria of the Valor level boost. I'll use that soon. Arriving at the local town of Bree, and
he's going to boost.
This, the stable hands.
See, because I tried the boost and it is overwhelming. I wonder how he's going to feel. I wonder if he's going to feel overwhelmed by the Aria of the Valor, because, you know, you get all of these quests, you get launched into a new place, you have all of your traits, all of your stuff. It's a little overwhelming. I wonder how he's going to feel about it.
Are actually tending the horses. There's a dude sat chilling on the steps. People are chatting. Kids are playing. This is what an MMO city needs to feel like. Alive beyond me. You know what? Let's boost to level 120. I mean, how confusing could it possibly be? Right. I'm now the saviour of the free peoples.
How confusing could it possibly be? Bro, if it's anything like my experience, it's so confusing. Look at everything on his screen right now. He's got all of these things to read. He's got every skill. It is hard. And I did say this in a YouTube video. I do wish that with the Aria of the Valar, that when you did it, that there was some sort of additional intro quest. I know this sounds kind of crazy and it would take a lot of work, but if they could give you something along the lines of an additional intro quest where you say, hey, let's introduce you to your traits, your virtues, let's introduce you to all your skills, let's just really help you along with this, I think you'd actually see a lot of people come back and play this game and raid in the game and do deep dungeons in the game. And again, I think that Lord of the Rings would be better for it. I know it would take some time. It would really take some things, but oh man, I think that would be really helpful. But I guarantee you he's about to say that he's very overwhelmed, because I think it's overwhelming opening the Aria of the Valar. But let's see what he says.
Hero of the land, I'm teleported to wherever this is. I'm Elrond's BFF and Gandalf wants a word. I'm being showered with accomplishments. I've been given a war horse and I'm being told about mounted combat. Then I get a free level 120 weapon and... where am I? What has happened?
See, I knew it. He's like, where am I? What happened? What am I doing right now? Dude, same, Josh. Again, I think that if LOTRO decided, like, let's ease people into the 120 experience, or make it skippable. Like, hey, I already know what I'm doing. Like, skip it. But if there is like a 10-minute thing that you, even if it's just a video, hey, you're about to jump into this and you're a hunter, here's all of your skills, man, it would make so many more people stick around.
What am I meant to be doing? Look, I appreciate you giving new players level boosts so they can catch up to their friends and do the higher content without grinding for weeks or months, and I do appreciate how this boost for some reason includes the riding skill, but please, if you are a brand new player, do not use the level boost until you have actually got to hear at least once legitimately, because it throws you into a very high level, very confusing part of the game. I have no idea geographically where I am or what any of my multiple unlocked skills or traits now do, because I've been given an overwhelming amount of stuff to deal with all in one go, and I know this is my fault, so I take full responsibility. Look, they even gave me a balloon. Look, Elrond. Look at my balloon. Are you proud of me yet, Elrond? Have a chat with Gandalf, and Gandalf recommends I finish the Black Book of Mordor quest line before starting his quest, but I have no idea where to start that quest, so we'll...
Exactly. Like, if you're going to say you got to go start the Black Book of Mordor, like, make it a button that says, here's how you actually start that quest. It's really confusing.
Skip it. I mean, how important can that really be? So I'm sent off to do something and talk to someone, and my god, the landscape around here is gorgeous. I don't know where I am or what I'm doing, but I do know that I'm having a good time doing it. Combat's a bit tougher though. I have a load of skills I don't understand, so I just run away. You know what? Let's just teleport back to Bree and become the most overpowered town protector ever. Let's check out the monster play mode I saw earlier. Interesting. You get to choose a character. There are free and paid classes. Is this PvP? So we log in and... oh, it's not just PvP. It's a whole PvP map with quests for the monster players, and skills, and class builds, and a monster base, and this is pretty cool. Okay, so this is one dedicated map with open PvP against the free peoples and the monsters. The only problem, there's no one around. You get...
Yes. Is such a good idea, but you have to have players inhabit it, which is why I harp so much on the Gift of the Valar. You've got to make it easy to get to 140, because if a lot of people came into this game like they are right now, and they could get to 140 very quickly and easily without a lot of overwhelming stuff, more people would play PvMP, and the game would be a lot more populated. People would spend more money, all of that stuff.
Given the briefest of tutorials given entirely through text boxes about how to play a monster, and then told to go and poison the river. So I walk all the way across the map and don't see a single other player. I'm also level 140. This area looks a lot worse than the other starting zones. I dump the poison...
Hey, he did find a group though. He found a group. That's great. That can be hard to do in PvMP sometimes.
And into the river. There's no graphical change from this. And then head back to the monster base and... win? Okay, new players don't play as a monster in the PvP mode. This is likely a novelty for veteran players, not a fun experience for new ones. Before I finish this video, I want to try one more thing. I want to see if the other starting zones are different experiences, so I make a new character.
Oh no. Oh, please don't play through the elf starting zone. It's not that great.
I'm going to go with a crazy fantasy combination of race and class, the likes of which has never been seen before. I'm going to make an elven archer. And the opening experience is, again, really good. Teaming up with Elrond to repel a dwarven attack on the elvish settlement. Same process of interaction, equip, combat, defend, retreat. It's, again, a very well-made tutorial. Lord of the Rings Online feels, at least when playing solo, quite a lot like Dragon Age Origins. It even looks similar. It's a slower-paced RPG with a lot of customization and glorious environments to explore with a cracking soundtrack. The combat system is showing its age enough, but it's still enjoyable. The plots are well structured and written, and the updating scenery and map models based on quest outcome is a lovely touch. I even like how the elf tutorial ends with the elvish leader destroying the temple instead of letting the dwarves steal the artifact, and then many years later we are sent to the frozen mountains to accompany Elrond's sons on a quest. And again, it looks gorgeous, but the epic scale of the landscape is enhanced by the minutiae, like how you can see your character's breath. Now, I can only judge what I played. I didn't get the chance to do dungeons or raids, and I didn't meet the Fellowship. But the opening section, the mechanics, the general design, the pacing, the overall ambience of Lord of the Rings Online is really, really good. I had an enjoyable, pleasant, slower-paced time. If you're after a more chilled MMO with a lot of free content and some really nice quality-of-life touches, you could do a lot worse than Lord of the Rings Online. Now, it's not perfect. The map resolution needs changing, the combat needs less jank, and the lag needs fixing, along with streamlining some of the riding skills, and maybe not giving new players a potentially game-breaking high-level boost directly from the inventory. There are definitely improvements. But all in all, it's a really decent MMO. I can see why it never quite reached the top tier, but I can also see why it's still around. So, to end the review, I will...
That's a great line. And I think that is perfect for Lord of the Rings Online. I can see why it never reached top tier, but I can see why it's still around. I do root for Lord of the Rings Online. I really hope that they can do a couple of things to get them to that top tier mode, which I think would be some graphical improvements, really guiding people into that high-end content, maybe squishing the levels a little bit so it feels more attainable. Because, you know, I'm a level 8 right now on the character that I'm playing my playthrough with, And it does feel like a lot. It feels like a long way to go, and there's all of this content that I get to play through. Again, if you're looking for a chill experience where you just experience the world, Lord of the Rings Online is a great place to be. If you're looking for that in-game content, the raids, the dungeons, the things like I really look forward to, I just know that I'm a long way from that, and it's really going to take a love of Tolkien and his world that he created to genuinely love the space and to genuinely play through it well. But I think that I like what Josh Strife Hayes says there.
Award Lord of the Rings Online. Seriously, just fly the eagles to Mordor. There
can't.
is no reason that wouldn't have worked.
Yes, there is. Sauron had an air force, bro. You'd be delivering the ring to him, but it's okay.
Out of 10. Cheers for watching.
I like
Another
it.
massive thank you to all the supporters on Patreon and Twitch for keeping the channel alive. You can support from only £1 a month. Check the video description for links to the Patreon, Twitch, Twitter, and Discord. And as always, have a great day.
Man, Josh Strife Hayes, he's so good. I really, really love his content. And he's one of the reasons that I stream. And he's the reason I wear the vest. This dude is the fanciest guy I've ever seen in my life. But thanks, Josh, for letting people react to your stuff. It's just awesome. And if for any reason you're following me and not following him, you got to go follow that guy. He is just unbelievable. If you did, leave it a like. It's totally free to do. Subscribe if you want to see more. And as always, I'm live on Twitch over at twitch.tv/Brightlife Community. We're a community of positive and uplifting gamers. Come find a friend to raid with, grab loot with, and just enjoy life together with. Hope you have an awesome day. Be blessed, and you are so loved and so valuable.